up, Faithful? Welcome to the East Coast Red and Gold podcast. I'm Niners Jess, along with Ty Austin, Maddie B, and your girl Bex is inactive tonight. What's going on, Faithful?
Nothing much. It's a good Wednesday. 4-9.
What's happening?
I was just going to say that. It is Wednesday, April 9th. Happy 4-9.
You know what would have been great today? The
What's
announcement of a Brock Purdy signing to celebrate 4-9 day. But no, we can't have nice things.
I would have even taken a George Kittle extension, too.
You're not getting that until you get the Brock Purdy thing, though, right?
Yeah, I know.
We're not.
I could hope for it. I could be hopeful, though.
True.
We are not tearing up. We're not redoing the bathroom until we get the entire floor out, right? Like, that's the whole thing. And then we'll do the bathroom. That's how that works. That's how
What's
that's
up,
how
Bebop?
this is going.
What's up, Bebop?
Hello, everybody.
All right. So the thumbnail, trenches. We got Ben Barch, Big Trent, Bosa, and Gross Matos. We're
P.S. Is Gross Matos on there just by default? I'm curious.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's pretty much that's how thin we are
Okay, just checking.
at the defensive line.
That's what I thought. I just didn't want to assume, and yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, you know what happens when you assume.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's just how thin we are. And, you know, we're about 15 days away from the NFL draft. We got into this a little bit last week. You know, as far as the offensive line goes, we'll start there. As of right now, this offensive line is kind of okay compared to the defensive line, which is a little sketchy. You know, as far as Colton McKivitz and Jake Brendel, they're still kind of a concern for me, even though Kyle said at the owners meeting that, you know, they did really well and, you know, and Chris Forster likes Jake Brendel. But to me, it's like, well, I'm going to be one of those people to say, well, what are they supposed to say?
Yeah.
You know, like, you're terrible. And, oh, by the way, hi, Jake. Hi, Colton.
Yeah.
Of course,
know?
we're going to be looking to upgrade it at every position,
Yeah.
right? That to me, that's the one thing that scares me about that. And I don't mean to just jump in, but like, if the whole thing about this whole thing is for competition at every single position, why wouldn't you say that about the offensive line? Why are we coddling them? I don't get it. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Does that make any sense to any of you, or am I wrong? Like, it just doesn't.
I'm right there with you.
It doesn't ring correctly. And just for a heads up, guys, we don't sit in the blue room a lot of times. Sometimes we just jump right on together. So, like, and we're not going to fake argue. That's another thing we don't do here either.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
if we have different sides of an issue, we'll know that there are different sides of an issue, but a lot of times we're on the same side. That's just how it works. But we see it from a lot of different angles. That's what makes this fun. Anyways, in case you've never been here before. Or you wanted to explain it to a friend and you didn't want to ask AI.
Tell a friend.
You know, yeah.
Just come through.
A friend.
Yeah.
You know, like, subscribe, etc.
Tell everybody.
All that good stuff.
But yeah, actually, before we move on, we are brought to you by Faithful Gear. Get your customized Niners gear at faithfulgear209.com. Again, it's faithfulgear209.com. And Robert has a couple of new designs. He has one of Nick Bosa, which is pretty cool. I think it comes in white, black, and red. And then the other is Brock Purdy, which is pretty cool. So go over and get yours to faithfulgear209.com. All right. So, Maddie, you were going to continue. I just want to get that out of the way.
It seems to me like they just didn't. It seemed to me like it almost at the previous get together, right, which was the combine. It was, we need to get better at every position. We really did a lot of self scouting, blah 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 blah, competition, right? We need to get our edge back. You know, they made it seem like they basically are utilizing Robert Saleh as their free agent signing this year, right? Like, I think we're all kind of in agreement. That's their big offseason acquisition this year. We got Robert Saleh. All right. Well, anyways, so, and now, like, hey, he's back. Okay, awesome. Like, can we get him some players? Like, could we maybe can we get him some guys, right? Can we get him some guys that can produce or something? So, but when they talk about the offensive line, it was nothing but glowing praise, and it's like I've seen multiple offensive line ranking systems, and you can use whatever one you want. And you can also use this thing called the eye test, which is cool too. You use that and you watch some tape, and then you watch your center get his ass kicked over and over again, or the guard have to slide over to cover for something that was missed. So that means there's some shenanigans that get missed on another side. It's a no from me, dog, is really what it boils down to. Like, there really needs to be some sort of, hey, we're really we've got 11 picks in the draft, right? If we draft a guy and he shows up, and remember, a lot of these guys that are getting drafted have 5-6 years of experience, right? Like, it's not like they're coming to the league and they're 20 years old, 21 years old. Like, there's a bunch of like older grizzled guys here, so this could turn around really, really quickly. I'm starting to continue to hear like the 49ers are done. Like, they should be relegated to another league. What are we doing, guys? Like, look at how many teams turn it around, and look at how quickly they can turn it around. Yes, they've got a lot of dead cap space, but no other team like rotated more or rolled over more cap space from last year into this year. I think maybe they knew this was going to happen, and maybe this was part of a plan, right? So, even though I don't like everything, but they got to hit. They got 11 picks in this draft. They got to hit them all. And if they plan to trade up, oh boy, if you trade up, you better hit that hard. There is not going to be any whiffing on any trade ups anymore. Like, there is going to be absolutely no grace given. I don't care if they trade up in the 3rd round for a guy. They can be like, wow, what'd you trade up for that guy for? Like, there's nope.
Yeah, Steve-O says people want studs at 22 positions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
they're not all Fred Warner, George Kittle, Nick Bosa.
Right.
You have
your Hufanga. Like, there were some all pros in there too. Like, we all forget that Huff had all pro, right?
Yeah, all pro year.
He was drafted too. Like, he should have had an all pro year. Like, yeah, a lot of guys.
Ty?
Yeah, the O-line, there'll be competition. I think just right now on paper, you don't want to rock any boats, because you may be depending on those guys, right? Jake Brendel might be the best you have on the roster come training camp. I should say week 1. You never know. So you don't want to rock the boat, I don't think, cause any dissension. And really, like, no one gets thrown under the bus at these things. So you don't expect that. I agree with you, Matt. There should have been some, we'll have competition at this position, but I kind of understand. Like, right now, like, Jake Brendel is the incumbent at center. Like, you may need him. You don't know what Matt Hennessy is until you see him out there. Drake Nugent. You don't know until the competition gets going. But even though they didn't say it, we know it's coming. We know when all the reporters go to training camp and they send out their updates, it'll be Drake Nugent started with the ones today. Matt Hennessy was with the ones today at center, etc. So we'll see that. It's just a matter of how much will they address the O-line in the draft. You would hope they grab a few young guys, did their homework just to get an infusion of youth in there. You never know. Might find another Dominic Puni out there. Right? That's the hope. So we got to trust the process. Like Matt said, they have a plan. They're sticking to it. We got to roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, they did mention competition. I forget what he was referencing as far as what position.
Well,
but
he mentioned left guard specifically when talking about the O-line. Yeah.
But they love competition throughout.
Mhm.
So there's no doubt in my mind that there will be competition at that center spot. I
Yeah.
mean, you could even throw in, Nick Zakel in there too,
Yes, I forgot about him.
um,
Yeah.
who's, up and coming and, um, really tall dude, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I expect them to take a few offensive linemen in the draft. I expect them to be for them to take, go heavy on the defensive line. Um, you know, there's 11 picks. You never know what they're going to do. Um, I actually have a cool story for you guys off the air. Um, but yeah, so this is why the trenches are important, because, this O line has to create the necessary holes for the run game and to protect Brock Purdy. So, and as far as the defensive line, have to stop the run and get to the quarterback. Maddie, you brought up Robert Saleh. It was good to actually see him today. The Niners posted pictures and, the beat writers posted videos and stuff like that. Kyle did allude to the fact that Robert Saleh has a big, big say in all this as far as the defense. How much of a say do you think that he has going forward?
We don't know, right? Like, he might have a ton of it, but then let's say he gets his defense rolling right out of the gate and the 49ers are going again, and all of a sudden Robert Saleh is a hot head coaching candidate for somebody that needs a defensive head coach, right? Like, is he really planning to be here for a year or two? You know, it's just interesting. And what is he looking for? Is he looking for a young guy that he can mold so that he knows that he's good by the end of the season? Are we looking for like that 2021 vibe where they kind of, treaded water for a little while and then they almost drowned, literally, against Indy, and then they came back and should have won a Super Bowl? So, can you get that same kind of lightning in a bottle this year if you can pick the right guys? Maybe, if you can do that right. So we'll see.
Ty, what do you think about Robert Saleh?
He's the man for the job. I said it before, Kyle. They've been here before. They've done this before. If there's some one person to get it right, he'll get it right. And he brought in his buddy Gus, who made the defense in Seattle to like double down on it. So now you got two guys who know this defense inside and out to teach guys around them. So, like, we still have a Fred Warner out there, a Nick Bosa, a Deommodore Lenoir. Now you add in these coaches, you infuse the youth. I think it'll be fine. It'll probably take them a few games to get going, but toward middle end of the season, they should be rocking. And things will be okay. So as long as they bring in the necessary pieces to, complement things, that's what counts. And that's to answer your question. Sorry, I kind of went the long route here. But that's where Robert Saleh, comes in. It's like, dude, if it's really your defense, you're making the call, we need you to get with the scouts, do your homework, and say, who do you need? What make your draft list so we can target these guys. Let us know. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, we don't want to just give you a guy. No, you tell us who you want and we'll go get it. And I think that'll happen. That'll happen. I don't see why it would not.
It's a great way to almost make him a head coach on a smaller scale again, but by making him just like the head coach of the defense, right? Like,
would you stop being a Debbie Downer with this head coach talk? He's here. He's with us.
Man.
That's all it counts.
No. It's just all it is it's like, hey, listen, we need you to be a head coach again, but this time we only want you to focus on the defense. That's it. I'm not saying I want him back in the market. I want him here for 20 years. Oh, I want him to be like, the guy that stays forever and then retires. like that
Yeah.
Dick LeBeau type. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. Here.
You know
That's
what?
what we
You
want.
never know. You know, I mean, I know Robert Saleh wants to be a head coach again, but you never know how, things turn out.
Yeah.
I hope that he's here more than this coming season. And Kylie brings up a good point. Don't forget about Gus Bradley, which I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
I wonder how long Gus
Like,
Bradley is going to be here until
Jordan's
he's
buddy.
in Los Angeles. Excuse me, Las Vegas, though.
Why do you say that?
They didn't grab him this round.
Well, it was kind of, I think, the way the firing was done or something. Like, I don't think the timing worked out all that well, but you never know. Like, maybe he wants to hang out here. That's cool too. I'm down for that. This defensive coaching staff is such an upgrade over what we had last year. Like, holy Pete, guys. Like, really. Just really good stuff.
That's right.
I'm very
All gas,
optimistic.
no brakes.
As long as they get the right guys to fill in and those guys stay healthy and they don't have to go down to their fourth stringers, right? Because at the end of the day, like that's what it boils down to.
That would be a huge help also.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Saleh was wearing his hoodie today, the all gas, no brakes.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was kind of like an acronym, but you can kind of you can tell what it is. Let's see what we got. Crazy Juice says, I believe Saleh will be here for 2 years. Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think it's going to be tough for defensive head coaches, sometimes to get head coaching jobs because they really want the head coach to be the offensive coordinator kind of too, right? And kind of link up with the quarterback as that long-term sort of thing. So if he does that, he's going to have the offensive coordinator candidate. Okay, and that's cool too.
Lined up, yeah.
And that's cool. But then if you're an actual functional franchise, you have to think for a second. Okay, we hire Saleh. He grabs whatever Kubiak comes with him, right? That crushes it. Let's figure that out.
Yeah.
Well, what happens in a year when if he hits with the quarterback, the offensive coordinator's gone because he's going to go fix another quarterback somewhere else, right? And then you got to do the whole thing over again.
Job somewhere, yeah.
Right. Whereas if you got that head coach and that quarterback kind of married together, then you're kind of all set. Like I know some places want to do that, but like in New England, you've got Vrabel McDaniel. McDaniel's never going to be a head coach again. So that's the perfect that's the sort of thing you want, right? Like I don't want Saleh to go out and fail again, but if he does and he just decides to stay here for the rest of his life, shucks golly, oh well, break my heart.
But New England's a different thing because they went, ownership went to the well with someone they know.
Yes.
In Vrabel. The common trend, and you just mentioned it, is like you got these teams with these young quarterbacks. They want an offensive mind to go with it.
Yep.
Whether you get a veteran offensive mind and a Sean Payton or some young hot coordinator like Liam Cohen, who went to Jacksonville, Ben Johnson, right? That's the trend. Like you want your quarterback to succeed because if you got that guy in place, you can mold the team around him. So I think it's going to be just a little harder for defensive coordinators to get a job unless it's New England, a legacy thing. The Jets, once again, a legacy thing. You can see those trends happening.
Taradome says Saleh knows good players. His problem was not personnel in New York.
Absolutely not. That was definitely
Aaron throwing them under the bus.
that was one of the multitude of problems. I think the other issue there too was I thought the real biggest issue there was after. To me, what spotlighted everything was how bad their defense was once he left. Okay.
Oh, it totally tanked.
Gone.
Totally tanked.
Because Ulbrich had to go do other shit, right? Nelberg's a really
Yeah.
good defensive coordinator, and Salah's a really good head coach. It was a pretty good head coach for the most part, except his offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just assumed Zach Wilson was going to pan out at number 2. He was supposed to be a slam dunk. He was not a slam dunk. He needed some development. Shocker.
I
Who
just
knew?
think that the problem with both New York teams is the ownership.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, we're lucky to have Jed as opposed to those guys. Like, I know I've complained about Jed as opposed to Eddie D before, which, you
Mhm.
know, we all
Mhm.
know the differences. But at the end of the day, still better than
Mhm.
some of the other ones out there,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like, are there really a lot of ownership groups that you would? And
Uh-huh.
they score well on the report card each year for the most part, like minus a couple of things. So
Rodgers is an egotistical jackass. Yes.
yeah, he's still holding the Steelers
Yeah.
hostage. Like, he's gonna roll this
which
thing
is
right out.
which
until
is
training camp.
crazy, and they're I think
you see what I'm saying?
they're absolutely stupid to be hanging around like they
I
are.
don't
Exactly.
think I don't think he really wants to play. I think that's the gig. I think
Yeah.
he's trying to muster up the desire to play, and it's not there.
I
That's
think
what I
he
think.
does, but he's just playing games like he always does.
No, because you can't. Not with the draft. They could tell him to go pound sand and go draft Jalen Milroe. There are multiple
to.
people. There are multiple people that would start Jalen Milroe day one, just because he's such a good running quarterback. He had like 20 rushing touchdowns last year. They could totally design an offense that could feature him running and develop him on the go. Kind of like what they wanted to do. Kind of like what they did to Lamar Jackson, right? Like,
Mhm.
run
Tony says
yourself
that he wants
run
to go to
yourself
the
into the
Vikings.
future. Well, I mean, that's great.
that-
Everybody wants to go to the Vikings, but JJ McCarthy's
report
going to
was
have
out
to crap
there.
his pants.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah. Steelers absolutely should draft a QB. And there's talk
Oh,
there's going
I
to be 4
would.
quarterbacks taken in the first round. So, you know, he might be one of them.
You get Rodgers, what he's gonna play a year?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
2. That's it. You still need a quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
You get,
so you get one.
and you can't draft a guy you want to develop under him because, like, if anything goes wrong, like, that turns into its own other shabacle. Like, we
Uh-huh.
don't that, like, they don't need that. We have seen that here, right? You know, we've seen that stuff. So no thanks. Hard pass, big dogs. We're good.
Kylie says, I think Salah will have his fingerprints on this draft for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think more so than when he was last here.
Yeah. Because
I'm
they're
sure
trying
that was
to
part of the
rebuild
deal.
it.
I was
There's
yeah, I
more.
was
Yeah,
just gonna say
exactly.
that.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that was a lot of the conversation. Like, hey, we need this thing to get back to where it was. And you're the guy. Like, you made it what it was. Come on in. And
Yeah.
we'll give you the autonomy to make that call.
I'd like to know how many, as far as like the contract goes, because one thing that we don't know is like Robert Saleh's contract. I don't care about the money, but like as far as years go, and same thing with like Kyle and John.
Yeah, it really bugs the living
Yeah.
holy crap out of me that isn't publicly available like the players' contracts are.
Because not last year, but it was the year before that Kyle and John were extended, and
Right,
we
and
didn't
you
know
have to,
we didn't
like,
know
and-
until like the week of the Steelers.
Right, and we don't really know, like, are they at a year? We don't know, right? Like, sometimes you know when a guy's in the last year of his contract. So, I mean, it's not like Salah's going to just run the whole draft. I'm pretty sure Kyle and John, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are going to have a
Yeah,
say.
just-
I know you two know this.
Right. Yeah.
Just
You're saying it for the people.
clarifying
Yeah.
in the comments, like,
Yeah.
guys,
No,
Robert
no, no.
Saleh's not running the organization.
No.
Like, he's gonna be.
No, like
Who
I
has 2
mentioned
years
before.
left, Kyle and John, Steve-O?
Make your list.
yeah. That was definitely one of the parameters of Salah coming back, that he would have more of a say. I would think.
You would think so.
Let's see. Tony G to teach the rookies and set the culture on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
KJ Wright will be groomed. I agree with this. I actually really like KJ Wright for, an up and coming DC whenever Salah goes. What do you guys
Well, I
think?
mean, that's one thing they can find, right? Look at what they did with D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico
Look
was
at what
different.
D'Amico
though.
Ryans has done with the Houston Texans, right?
D'Amico was
So-
basically a coach when he played.
right.
That dude was not the biggest, was not the fastest, but god damn it, could he diagnose an offense
Right.
and get in the right place at the right time and make a play. Like D'Amico is different from way back. He's one of them players that you could look at and be like, oh, he's going to be a coach one day. So I don't know if KJ's built like that. Fingers crossed. Yes, we love it, but I can't make that point right now.
They seem to do a really good job of identifying guys like that right away and then kind of targeting them later, right?
That's true.
Going
Yeah,
through
true.
the development program and everything else. I mean, and then they turn them into comp picks all the time. Like the amount of third round comp picks that come flying in
We rack them up every year.
every year.
Yes, I mean they'll obviously work with the scouts. I mean this is complete team effort.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the point. That's the point I made earlier. You tell Rob Saleh, hey, get with the scouts, go through these list of players, identify, make your board, make your defensive draft board, who you want, and we'll work together on the draft. When we're looking at the board, we'll compare your defense, offense, and we'll make these picks together.
Steve-O says all the good picks will be Saleh and the bad ones will be Kyle, per his source.
Do you guys think when do you guys think they draft a running back?
Third round.
Third round.
No, I'm kidding.
We need new jokes.
Yeah. Let's see. We got 1-1, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, 3 7s, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And there's a ton of running backs in this draft. You know somebody's going to drop.
actually, you know what? I'm going to stick with the third round.
That's why I didn't laugh. Like I didn't think it was a joke. I legit I'm not kidding. I've seen a fart ton of mocks recently, and a lot of them like from people that actually aren't here to screw around and be like, I would like to do a mock trade where somebody does 14 different things, right? Like they do the system ones. It's almost like I almost look at it like I don't know, slot machines. Eventually going to hit, right? And you already know your first 3 picks, or it's it can be a horse race in that aspect. Like you already know the first 3 picks, and you know what order they're going in, pretty much for the most part at this point, because this process takes forever. Like, there's if Genty's the first guy on their board, and he's there at 11, what if they take him? And they're like, well, he's the first guy on our board, right? Like,
and your board fucked up.
Well, I mean, he is pretty good. The problem is,
I don't care. Fuck all this. When the season ended, before the season ended, everybody and their mama was yelling, "We gotta take care of the trenches. We gotta rebuild the O-line. We got to rebuild the defensive line." The thumbnail to show trenches, trenches, trenches.
I know.
Now all of a sudden,
why do you rebuild those trenches so somebody can run
the draft
through it, right?
creeps closer? Everybody's all of a sudden, we need a punter. There's going to be one there at 11. We need a wide receiver.
We're not taking.
There's going to be one there at 11.
Who's saying take wide receiver at 11?
What happened?
Someone wants to take a wide receiver at 11?
Yes.
I can't even.
I actually did see a mock draft
out there.
Mother of Pete,
someone took a wide receiver at 11.
I'm telling you. It was trenches, trenches, trenches. We got to protect Brock.
What if we draft Ted McMillan?
At 11? No, thanks.
Oh, who did that? That's no.
What's up, Rob D?
Unbelievable. Also, good to see
I
Brandon
actually,
Ayuk
throughout all
working
the
out.
mock drafts that I've seen, like the Tyler Warren and Jahdae
Did you
Barron.
see the trade rumor today that quote Kyle Shanahan's been sniffing around to move up to get Tyler Warren? Have you heard that?
Yes, I heard that.
I saw that. I
didn't
saw
see
that
that
today.
one.
Now,
Thank goodness.
And I heard
yeah,
the
like-
other half of that as well, which I'm not too happy about. That they'll trade George Kittle in the process.
Oh,
That'd be
where
dumb.
are you trading George Kittle to?
That
Stop
would
it.
be dumb.
I
That's-
heard that was Grant
That's
Cohn
literally
special.
biting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
Like, that is unbelievable.
Who said
right
that?
there.
That's a Grant Cohn special today.
Ugh. He's been trying to get rid of him for years. I shouldn't
What's
even
up,
ask.
McMahon?
Goodness,
That's true. You are right there.
I didn't see him as the source quote for the other part. Like I,
See ya, Tony.
Tony.
there's no anything that I never follow that. I have no idea what goes on over there in that little part of the land. But I had seen the other one, and I'm just like, ha ha! This is why the draft should not take this long. The draft should be this weekend. We should be
Yes.
doing it Saturday,
It should get here
and then
already.
they
I
should be
can't
like,
wait.
hey, guess what? We already know the schedule, right? That should also be happening too.
Which I think it's actually kind of interesting how, speaking of the schedule, Mayoko had said that there's no international game this year for the Niners.
Isn't
And
that
most
weird?
likely 2026, the Niners will have a home game in Mexico City.
Probably against the Cardinals again, because that's just how that goes.
It's a common sense thing.
Yeah.
It's a common sense thing. They want to expand. 49ers empire. We are global. Where do we send them? Well, we absolutely hit a home run in Mexico City.
Yeah.
It was bananas. Even if you weren't there, you can see it was bananas. It probably went better than what they could have ever imagined. It was like, hey, let's not reinvent the wheel and try to send Cleveland there. Like, let's send them Niners back there.
Yeah.
They had the draw, huge fan base, and let them be the game. Sometimes it comes down to just economic sense.
Everybody that I have talked to that went to that event has never stopped talking about it. So it was a great
Mhm.
experience of their 49er fandom. So
Crazy Juice is I could see, this being a thought that they just want the Niners to be trash.
I mean, there's a lot of people that really want that.
Yeah.
Right? So, and there are a lot of Giants and Jets fans that work in the league office. So just throw that out there.
That's
It's here in
true.
New York,
Sin wants to know, should we be looking for CMC's replacement? If so, which running back would you draft?
Yes, Ashton Genty. Thank you, Sin. That was actually my question. Thank you. Thank you very much. When you replace impactful running back with impactful running back, you get impactful results. Like Jordan
Is that
Mason was
so?
an awesome. Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. Jordan Mason was an awesome running back, and he did some awesome things last year, right? But it was just like it was going from like Terrell Davis to Mike Anderson. Mike Anderson was good, but he was not Terrell Davis.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it boiled down
Good
to.
one.
And that's why Jordan Mason got traded, because there was no way in blue hell they were going to pay $5.3 million for a running back this
No
year.
way.
Collie wants Judkins.
Well, in what round? Right? Like, maybe.
Still, we'll see. They're going to draft one.
I do not want to see them draft another Ohio State running back ever again. Ever since the Trey Sermon thing,
Yeah.
no. Hard pass.
Although I think people lose their minds if we draft a running back in the third round, which I think we need to get over that.
I think people are going to
It only happened twice.
Honestly, I think they'll lose their mind even when they draft a no matter what round they draft the running back in.
True. Steve-O says that he wouldn't know who Scadaboo is if it wasn't for that one game.
I'm with you, Steve-O. I wouldn't know who he was if it wasn't for
Yeah.
that championship game either.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I read Steve-O's comment. I'm like, you know what? That's actually true. I feel the same way. McNiner, the history of Lynch and Shanahan drafts D-line. If one of Membu, Banks, or Campbell fall to 11, then we still take D-line. I think we still go D-line at 11.
I think it really depends on who's at the top of their draft board on the D-line.
Yeah.
/ edge, because their board could look way different than somebody else's, right? Like,
Yeah.
If Mike Green's there at 11, do you take the chance?
Look, you just don't know.
Right.
You don't know what their board is going to look like. Like you said, you don't know what their board's going to look like.
Just
look at last year's draft.
Yeah. Do they think James Pierce is the guy? Do they not care that they're planning on running a rotation, right? Why wouldn't maybe they focus on James Pierce? Because like Tennessee runs a similar rotation to us where they try to run like 8 to 10 different guys through the line during the game and keep them fresh, right? So maybe they're looking for guys like that. And there are a lot of guys like that in this draft this year. And a lot of teams are concerned about that because they don't do that, right? They have 5 or 6 guys that they rotate through the line. Well, you see how that works sometimes in big games. Like, look at what happened to Duke last week.
Yeah. Kylie says Judkins isn't Sermon.
Oh, UConn used more than 7 players.
That's true.
And that was my point. And Duke only really used 6.5. So, because I think the one dude played like 8 minutes. Like, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Break, man.
Maddie, Judkins isn't Sermon.
No,
and that's coming from a Buckeyes fan.
Okay, we'll see. See what happens.
Okay. McNiner says Scatta who? Guys, I'm going to drop the link in the chat if anybody wants to come on and join us. We'd love to hear how you're feeling as we're just a little over 2 weeks from the draft.
So long. It is so long. It is so ridiculous.
It's definitely going to drag for sure.
And they're going to just kick this in like, well, Steve-O, I'd love to tell you, but I don't know, right? Like at this point, I would say 4 based on the list. But again, I can't tell you because I don't know when the games are because the National Football League effing hates us. That's it. It hates fans that travel. It hates fans that go to games. What do you guys think of this new thing about them being able to whip anything to Thursday night like 3 weeks in advance?
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Disgusting. Hate it.
What is going on?
Hate it.
Hatred with a capital H, man. Like,
if you feel that the Thursday night product sucks, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, we know you want because you want the ratings and the revenue and all that stuff. But flexing teams in is not the answer. It's not.
The schedule comes out in May. Probably like the first week in May.
Funny thing is they probably have it already. They probably generated
that's why I said I think it's interesting how Mayoko said that there's no international games.
Yeah, they've probably already got like 2 composite 2 or 3 or a few different composite schedules. And it's all going to be based off of the draft. Like, let's say Cleveland does like what Houston did a couple years ago, and they trade up, and they just trade up for a haul so that they can get Hunter and then get Sanders, right? And then do the whole thing with like, oh, well, Stefanski's going to teach him how to play this year. And then when everything goes to crap, they're going to be like, well, we're cutting Deshaun. And here comes prime time and the gang to come in and clean up the culture here in Cleveland, right? Like, there could be stories and things like that happen during the draft. And if that happens, they're going to want that on a Thursday night, right? Like that Cleveland game in late November when they lose, when it's close to the Steelers or something, might actually be of interest because it's like, oh, well. Maybe if they played Shedeur, they would have played better, right? Or whatever it is that they're doing, or whatever the drama is at that point in time. Like, I think that's some of the stuff that's happening. I think they're going to want to showcase Cam Ward if he goes to Tennessee, but are they really? Is Tennessee going to be that good? We don't know, right? Were they that good last year? Is Cam Ward better than Will Levis was last year? remains to be seen, to be determined.
Exactly.
We don't know. So
I don't,
the Giants are going to be on TV no matter what, because again, league hates us. So we're going to see Giants and Cowboys and
It's East Coast bias, yeah.
all the time.
Kylie says, I just hope we don't play Cleveland late in the season.
Why? Can you tell us why?
Probably
Why,
because
the
of the weather.
season might be over for Cleveland at that point. Like,
Yeah.
That's true. So you think Brandon Ayuk will be ready for week 1?
well, that I don't know. I don't think so. I would not go that far. To me, it really depends on when he comes back. Really depends on when the 49ers bye week is. Like if their bye week's like week 5, maybe he's on the pup list through week 4, and then he comes back in week 6, right? Like, but we don't know.
I think the most he'll start on the pup list.
Yeah, I think that I think that is the most optimistic thing we can do. So
There you go.
right, that's where I'm at.
Understandable. Now I'm with you.
Cody, last time when I went, when the Cleveland game happened, like it was super sunny before the game, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, like mid-game, it started snowing a little bit. It stopped, and everything was like. And then Jake Moody missed a kick, and then I walked back to my vehicle, and all anybody talked about was how Robbie Gould wouldn't have missed that kick, and I couldn't help but agree with them because they were right.
Hell,
Perfect
if you want to go there, the old Niners wouldn't have been in position to make a field goal. They would have won
That
that
is
game
also that was another point.
Let's get real.
There's a very good possibility
guy.
Robbie Gould may not have had the opportunity to make that kick because an interception may have been thrown or a fumble may have happened. Right?
Those 3
I was also
touchdowns
there,
that we
Cody,
didn't
so,
score
yeah.
in the first half would have been on the board.
Maddie, you mentioned Jake Moody. Did you guys see the video of him kicking the 66-yarder?
That's awesome.
Nope.
Hope it works out for him. I also heard that they're looking at kickers in the draft. I also heard there's talk of maybe Nick Folk coming in as competition. Nick Folk's about as exactly. Get the folk out. Jake.
Well, you know what? They got to bring in somebody. I think that's the one comment that everybody believes that Kyle Shanahan said was that they are bringing in competition for training camp.
So you can make a kicker who's already nervous. Right. Right. So like you can already make your kicker nervous who's already nervous, who's already, struggling with that. Let's make him nervous through the thing, but let's treat Jake Brendel with kid gloves. Right.
Yeah, Moody is definitely awesome in practice.
He's not awesome during warm-ups.
On the practice field.
Yep.
You get him inside of a stadium and all of a sudden it's different. So practicing on the practice field. Get him in the stadium. But no,
and I like
it's a smart thing to do. Bring in competition.
I like how on that video he was midfield, and then whoever was videoing it was like 66 yards. And I'm like, so what?
We don't care. We don't care.
He's got to make them when it counts.
Exactly.
All right. Who can we look to bring this team back to a championship team?
Ricky Pearsall, baby.
Why?
He is going to have to pick up a lot of the production left behind by the removal of Debo, number one. And I think he is going to be one of those guys that Brock is. I think he's going to be he's going to be the guy that's at the end of a lot of Brock's hot routes, if that makes sense. I think he's just going to be that guy that's kind of there. And if he's reliable and he can break some tackles, that's going to be good too. Also, maybe Juwan Jennings. It's that next level. Juwan Jennings becomes
contract year.
Yeah, and it's a big contract year too. He just had that small kind of contract extension. This is his chance to go get probably
Number
Debo
one
money,
wide receiver movie,
right? Or
yeah.
at least try to get try to get
Yeah.
something. Even if you go out and get Mac Hollins money, right? Like that's pretty sweet. So this is a huge opportunity for him. So I look to those two guys because Brock's going to have to throw to those guys a lot until Ayuk is healthy. The way I look at it.
That's why the whole trading George Kittle thing is absolutely absurd.
That is the dumbest thing I've heard all week, and let me tell you, so
You're going
many
to trade
dumb
an
things.
all-pro player, still playing at an all-pro level, for a rookie.
Best tight end in football right now.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
and the reasoning was, we should do it at, at that, that peak level, instead of trying to trade Brandon Ayuk when he's injured.
The Danny
And
Ainge thought.
the teams that do it are the Chiefs do it. I forget the other teams he named.
Yeah,
But I
but
was
not
just-
everybody does it. Not everybody does it right.
I didn't
Yeah.
see the Chiefs trading Kelsey. They
Yeah.
traded Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill wanted out.
They also think Tyreek Hill was kind of a pain in the ass.
And-
So
and
I
that's-
think that would be the other sort of
Like-
thing, right?
The reason why we were about to trade Brandon Ayuk, because he was being a pain in the ass
Right,
about
correct.
signing that contract.
Correct.
Like,
And also
the front
probably
office does get pissed off too.
probably why the trade rumors persisted up until April 1st, right? Just a reminder, like, hey, if somebody does send us a little deal, now we can trade you, and you can't really block it because you've already signed the extension. So
Here's another possibility, Leon Sandcastle. I just think they're trying to tempt a team to trade in front of them for Warren to push a player down to 11.
That always happens. People jockey, leak things, put things out there. It's different when it's coming from a team than when it's coming from a troll. Yep, I said it.
Why Callie doesn't listen to Cone. Yep. Well, he was on with Larry Kruger, and I like Krug.
a lot of people are just hoping that there's a quarterback run in the first. That's what it boils down to. Like, does a quarterback get taken in the first? Does more than one quarterback get taken in the first 10 picks? If that happens, I think the 49ers can benefit. If it doesn't, I think the 49ers could get screwed. Right? Like, depending on how that board goes and depending on how it is. But based on the teams that are ahead of them, I feel very strongly that they will have some pretty good options and some guys that they really want there at 11.
Oh, yeah.
McNiner says we signed the third best pass blocking tight end in the NFL in 2024 so that Kittle can be utilized instead of being our 6th O lineman. Facts.
He's still gonna stay in and block some. He's just too good at it.
Yeah, I got to start doing that, Callie. Let's see. Hey, Papa J, how are you? Totally join in, but he's on his way to the closest dispensary. Okay.
All right.
Are you in San Jose, Papa J?
Enjoy. Rob D says they're going to let JJ walk because someone is going to pay him. I don't know. That would be another guy that I'd be looking to extend.
He's going
right
to
now.
walk.
Yeah.
It's not, they let him walk once again. He will be a free agent, unrestricted, free to go wherever he wants to. And let's look at what happened with the Kristen Kirk a couple of years ago, where a team just threw him number one money. If the team wants to throw JJ number one money, hey, it's his power to go. If he wants to go, let's say it's the Titans. Let's say the Titans throw him a bunch of money. He's a Tennessee guy from Tennessee, loves it there. Why not go home?
Yeah, I mean, he can be reunited with George Kittle because clearly they're going to trade for him this offseason.
Yeah.
Papa J's in Eureka, California.
All right. I don't know where that is. I don't know if that's near San Jose or not. I only know of a place near San Jose. I can't believe Jess didn't. I can't believe that Jess didn't react to my whole George Kittle going to the Titans thing. She just ignored it and moved on. I'm really
Because
She's a
I am
smart woman. She's
extremely
heard enough.
disappointed. Extremely disappointed.
the wheels are always turning. So
Mm.
I'll remember that though. Trust
Okay.
me. Bebop, has anyone ever seen Moody smile? Yes, he smiled in a picture with me.
He's also smiled in a picture with me.
There you go.
Guess you just have to
That's
be
right.
cool with him.
Maybe that's what it is. It's like he needs infinity stones. Like he needs to take a picture with me. He's going to take a picture with Beck, and then he can complete like the infinity stones as a whole.
Actually, go back, rewatch Week 1 versus the Jets 2024 season. You will see Jake Moody smile. And let's not forget, he was named Special Teams Player of the Week after that week. Put some spec on Moody's name.
Papa J says Eureka is halfway between San Francisco and Oregon, the land of Bigfoot.
Mm, Look
Okay.
at that.
I
There's
bet
some
he knows the
geography
place.
here.
I bet he knows a place.
It's weird.
Hey, we got Brian Culp in the house. What's up, Brian? Says
Wow.
smash the
DC
like.
in the house. That's right.
Smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Tell your friends.
Tell a friend, tell a friend.
What I see a lot of Will Johnson getting mocked down to us
Yes.
at 11.
That's what I'm saying.
What do
That's what I'm
you think
saying.
what do you guys think of that? Because I see a lot of tape on him, and I see a lot of tape on him getting pass interferences and running to catch up to people. But I think he would probably benefit from playing in a place that does a lot of zone. And what do you know? This is a place that would be doing a lot of
Hey,
zone.
look at us.
Hey, look at that.
So
Yeah. I made my thoughts known about drafting other players, other positions than the trenches earlier. Like I don't understand it. How there's been just this shift in the mindset amongst the faithful of we need to protect Brock Purdy. Got to draft O-line. We need to stop the run and get after quarterback. We got to do the D-line. And all of a sudden, hey, man, you seen Kyle Williams play? If he's there at 11, what the?
who wants to draft anyone named Kyle Williams? I don't
It's
care
out
if
there,
he's
bro.
the consent.
It's
I
out there.
swear to you, I don't care if he is the consensus number one overall everything, and we
Yeah,
happen to have the
I'll
number one
pass.
overall pick. Nope, nope, nope,
That's what I say.
no.
So Steve-O wants us no,
Steve-O,
aside
what
from
do you
our
ask?
needs, if you draft to win your division, what would you draft with the NFC West weaknesses? Because it's not cornerback or CB3.
Aside from your knees, you have to win your division.
They desperately have to
Need your
get
needs.
somebody on the other side of Nick Bosa that
Yeah.
can cause havoc and destruction on a regular basis.
I got to find my preacher voice. I probably sound like the Reverend from Coming to America.
Brian Culp wants to know what's more likely to happen. We beat the Rams twice or Sam Darnold beats the 49ers twice.
We beat the Rams.
Rams twice.
Yeah. For sure.
Maybe 3 times if you have to.
That's right. Mac-a-Lot Records. I got them all black today too. Straight out of Faithful. Let me not.
Yeah, but it's still the name, Nick Niner.
I don't care, David.
The name. It's the
It doesn't
history. It's
matter.
the
The simulation has
aspect.
basically been like,
And-
here, let's put
and
a
if
guy
he
like that
wears
with the
number
49ers.
10, forget it.
Yes, stop
yeah.
it.
But we know
Yeah,
number
no.
10 is not available, so that's
Goodbye.
good.
Yeah.
But
No,
I would like to see a shift in the wide receiver. And, like, can we get a tall, fast receiver for once? There's receivers in this draft that are 6'4". They run 4.3 and 4.4. They got big hands, all that good stuff. Can we get one of them? All of our receivers seem to be short, shifty guys. Juwan Jennings is tall, 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is, but he's no burner, right? He's a underneath break tackles guy.
He's
Like,
almost a tight end.
Yeah, can we get one of these big, fast guys?
Yeah.
That you can get downfield, you can throw up the ball, they'll go up and get it. They got the height advantage automatically. That's what I would like to see. Like Kyle went out and got a Julio Jones, right? Tall, fast. Can we get
Best
one of them
receiver
on
he's
this?
probably ever coached, right?
Yeah, I know. Can we get one? Well, yeah, I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get one of those on the squad? If we're going receiver, can we go that route? Get something completely different. We got short, shifty, quick guys. Let's get a big, tall, fast guy.
Yes, Brian, like college JJ Stokes, not pro JJ Stokes. There's a little
I don't
difference there.
think we need another wide receiver, but we're definitely going to
Yeah.
draft one.
Wide receiver is definitely not a need. I say
I'm
for
expecting-
just back end depth,
Yeah.
great to have one, right? And that's what I mean. If we do get one, not Kyle Williams. Come on, man.
I'm expecting like 2 O linemen, 3 or 4 defensive linemen and edges, and then that's going to leave you with 5 wild cards, right? Safety,
Yeah.
corner, linebacker if one falls to you, running back, wide receiver. So we'll see. And then there's also going to be that post June 1st cut market, right? There's a lot of
yeah.
bargain shopping that goes on right around that
course.
time frame too. So the legitimate one, because you only get 2 that you can do before June 1st that you can designate as a June 1st where people can start signing. Then you actually have to wait till June 1st. You're like, oh, hey, you know that roster you thought you made? Just kidding. So there'll be a lot of guys floating around even after that, even if that doesn't go through. So, and this is also another desirable area for undrafted free agents to sign too. And there's really no limit to the amount of them that they can be brought in. So I don't think any rock will be left unturned.
Yeah, and you know they're going to bring in a ton of undrafted free agents like they do every year. And, you know, they tend to hit on 1 or 2. Like, just look at Evan Anderson. No one saw him coming. Now we're like, he might be our best defensive tackle on the roster right now.
Oh, yeah.
So
Brian says, I feel we're going to surprise everyone.
yeah, people are just looking at last season and panicking and taking it overboard. And it's like a lot of our losses were self-inflicted. I've said
So
it plenty
many.
of times. They were all performance-based. We underperformed. Like, we were never blown out per se. Well, Buffalo was kind of a big one, but it's fucking cold
Green
in
Bay.
Buffalo. We don't do that. Green Bay, but look who started the game.
With
Yep.
a 1.5 hands. Yes.
Thank you very much. Like, the biggest head scratcher of the season was that game, and who started? Like, why?
I swear, I hope someone writes a book someday and explains to me the reasoning that went into that decision in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't get over it. I am someone who desperately tries to see everything from, I want to see the whole picture. I don't want to see just 2 things because I understand that there's multiple sides to every story.
Yeah.
And
So if you could ask Kyle one question, that would be it.
that, I swear to you, that would be it. I would be like, how did you decide that Brandon Allen with one working hand with one hand and then another half that, like, another hand that had like broken fingers on it, or the hand was broken? I really don't care. It was a snowstorm. What made you think that him also being completely immobile, by the way, like he was a statue in the snow? Like,
Mhm.
what made you think that he was a better option to start than Josh Dobbs? Like, yes, maybe Josh Dobbs could turn it over 5 times, but he could also rush for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns and also throw for another 4 touchdowns, right? Like, I'll never understand that. It's almost like that to me was the point. I don't want to say they gave up on the season, but they were just kind of like, because they had no problems letting Dobbs start in the final week,
Mhm.
and he pretty much tore it up. And Arizona was bound and determined to kick our ass. So there was no,
Yeah.
And you know what, Sin? A guy like Josh Dobbs is the type of guy that has enough energy to carry a tired team for a little bit, right? And if you get a big win against a team like Green Bay, boy, you're going to feel a hell of a lot better going into Buffalo the next week as opposed to, shit, we're down again in the snow and back-to-back weeks. Don't we play for the 49ers? Why are we playing in snow on back-to-back weeks? Like, it's a completely different mindset. You go 1-1 on that road trip, you're doing okay. You go 0-2 on that road trip, your season is wrapped up. So
here's a true fact. Also, according to most people, if we pay Purdy a lot of money, then our window is closed. We have a window open because of Brock Purdy.
I don't understand how you find your number one quarterback and all of a sudden your window's closed.
Yeah, that's it. We got to pay him now.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand that one.
I have never. It makes, like, I get it. All it says to me is we don't really believe in Brock Purdy. We only believe in Brock Purdy at a certain price. Because if you put Brock Purdy with the All-Stars, everything will be fine. But if you don't put Brock Purdy with All-Stars, look what happened last year. Like, yeah, boy. So I think that's what they are. That's what they are. But if they look at like most of the peripheral stats and the ones that you got to dig deeper on, Purdy had a hell of a year with a less than stellar supporting cast and absolutely no Christian McCaffrey.
Same cast,
right?
Sans Christian McCaffrey. Everyone else was there until Ayuk got hurt, but everyone else was there.
Except the whole offense has run through Christian McCaffrey since October of 2022, and nobody it was a different. There was all sorts of transition last year, right? Just for all of it. So, and they knew. That's why I continue to keep my ear open for any of that Genty stuff, because like if he falls. We've seen how this offense runs without a good running back. So who knows?
But we had a good one. We had no McCaffrey. Jordan Mason was there.
Yeah.
So we didn't have Tony Stark, but Rhodey was there. Shout out to everyone who gets that reference.
That's impressive. I like that. That's good.
You like that? Thank you. So you know what I mean? It was different, but still hella effective.
Yes.
So
the problem is Jordan Mason couldn't catch like Christian McCaffrey could, and I think that's what changed everything.
True. But you still had receivers out there who could catch the ball. I just think the offense just was not consistent. And I said this plenty of times. Mm-hmm. The execution just was not there consistently. It was not getting the job done. How many times did we get into the red zone and come up empty? How many times did we just stall inside the 30s? Just stall. Like, we can't pick up a 3rd and 2. Just stall. It's like, what is going on? We just got to get back on track. It was an off season.
That's true. Maddie, this could be a possible answer as far as choosing Brandon Allen over Josh Dobbs.
Maybe.
Sean's Garage. The only thing that makes sense was they probably didn't want Dobbs to get a playing bonus.
Maybe that's what it was. But then why did they play him against Arizona, right?
Exactly.
Like,
I think it's Kyle just wanted to look at him, see him play. You know, Kyle just, like I said, when Breezy was on, Kyle has a type. And Brandon Allen kind of fits that type. He wanted to see him play. And it was like, okay, I've seen enough.
We could, you know what? We could save that for week 18 at Arizona. I would have been okay with that. You flip-flop those, it makes more sense. So
yeah,
stop it, Brian.
Yeah.
Stop it right now.
Yeah. Don't speak that into existence, Brian.
He might be the best guy we got. You never know.
Do we have anything else? Because it's getting to be past my bedtime and I can't.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna go to that 2-minute warning. Go ahead, Ty.
Ooh, hold on. I wasn't ready.
Sorry, I was just having nightmares of Brendel being a captain.
Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, I hate this time of year. I really hate the off season. It drags on so long, and people talk so much mess. I'm gonna be so happy when the draft comes here, and like a lot of the speculation is gone, and we can just get back to business. But trenches. Theme of the show, trenches. Please don't lose sight of that. We need to rebuild and upgrade the trenches. I think that's priority number one. Go Niners.
Maddie?
Rush the passer. Not a usual thing for them. I mean, they have taken one offensive lineman in the first round, but I think based on the way things are going in this draft, I think it's going to be pass rush or defensive line, because they know they got to stop the run and they got to rush the passer. That's the key. That's the way to get back to playing 49ers football, and that's what they brought Robert Saleh in here to do. So if he was their big free agent acquisition, they're going to want to support that, I think. Bang, bang.
Shout out to the chat. You guys are awesome, as usual. If you haven't liked the show, please like and subscribe. Shout out to Faithful Gear. Again, get your customized Niner gear at faithfulgear209.com. Yes, the trenches are very important, and we need to start there. And yeah, I'm very excited for the draft and see what happens. And as always, go Niners. We'll see you next week. And next week we will have Steph Sanchez on. So come back here.
Draft analyst.
Yes, come back here next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. As always, go Niners.
Go Niners. See you, everybody.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone.